Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today is the fifth and final part of my multiple addresses series. Well, I say final. It's the last one I got planned right now. Sometimes months later, I'll come up with a part 6 when people ask questions. But for now, this is the last one. We're going to do part 5. Then I'm going to do a little extended cut for the members. And then we're going to be done with it for now. But if you haven't watched parts 1 through 4, go watch those and then come on back. Now in part 5, we're switching over to developer mode, which means we're going to need a little bit of VBA code to do what we need to do. Everything I showed you so far doesn't require any programming, right? You can come down here, you can do this, you can pick another address from the list like that. You can start typing it in if you want to, right? 101, and it'll go right to that one. But what if you got thousands and thousands of records in here and you want to put a filter box up top? Right, just maybe filter it and show just New York or show just a particular zip code or whatever. All right, it'll make this list a lot shorter, make it easier to find addresses. So what do you need to know moving forward for today? Well, if you've never done any VBA programming before, go watch this video. It'll teach you everything you need to know in about 20 minutes. We don't need much VBA today, just a little bit, a couple lines here and there. It's just knowing where to put them, which is what I'm going to show you. We're also going to use a little bit of SQL. We're going to modify a where clause, and we're going to do a little insert query with that. But it's easy stuff. I'll show you how. But go watch this to get a little heads up on how SQL with Access works, if you're not familiar, if this looks like gibberish to you. Make sure you understand wildcard characters and how wildcard searches work. You'd be surprised how many developer students I get that never saw something like this with a little asterisk there. So go watch this. Oh, and by the way, I fixed my little QR code thingy. Found a new place. We're going to use an after update event. We're going to type in a little bit of a filter, and then after that field is updated, we're going to update our combo box, right, to filter the records. So go watch this if you've never used an after update before. And go watch this on refresh and requery. We're going to use requery today too. These are all free videos. They're on my website. They're on my YouTube channel. Go watch them if you haven't, and then come on back. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is put a little filter box up here where the user can type what they want to limit it. Because one of the problems with a combo box, right, is if you want to limit it to, say, just the state, okay, if you come down here and type in NY, it doesn't do anything because it has to be at the start of the combo box. So this is nice if you know the street address. Or if you start typing in 123, it'll bring you right there. But I want to be able to filter based on any part of the address. So we'll put a text box here. And then another combo box over here that will filter to show just the filtered records. And then we can just add it down below. All right. So let's start off with a text box. I'm going to just borrow first name, copy, paste. All right. We'll slide it over here. And I'll rename this label here. We'll call this the address filter. You can call it address search. You can call it whatever you want. All right. And then we'll slide you over here like that. This doesn't need to be that big. Usually you put like small bits of text in here. Now, double click on it. We're going to name it. Go to all. We're going to name this the address filter, and we're going to get rid of the control source. Delete. That is now an unbound box. It's not saving its data anywhere. We're just going to use it temporarily. We don't save it in the field under the table, for example. Okay? Now, this guy is going to filter another combo box. I don't want to have to recreate it, though. Let's just grab this one. Click on it once. That'll select the whole subform. Click on it a second time. That'll select the combo box. Copy it. Now click back up here and paste it. See that? I just basically made a copy of it from the subform up here. Okay, now it doesn't need to be that big. And notice we're getting the little triangle thingy here because this field does not exist in the customer table. That's fine. That's fine. We're going to fix that. Move that over here. Okay. Now, open this guy up. All right. Address combo is fine. We can leave that name because this form doesn't have another address combo. Right? You can have an address combo up here and an address combo in there. As long as they're on different forms, including subforms, that's fine. But we're going to also unbind this guy. These are both unbound controls. We're not saving their data anywhere. We're just hanging on to it for a minute. We'll do something with it when we're done. Okay? All right. So, let's see what we got so far. Save that. Let's close it. Open it back up again. All right, so here I got a little text box. It's not doing anything yet, but I can type in it, right? doesn't do anything. But what's going to happen is I'm going to come in here and type in main and then hit tab. And when I do, it's going to filter this list based on what's in here. That's where our wildcard search comes in. Okay? Now, where does this guy get his data from normally? Well, design view, open her up, go to data. There's the row source right here. All right, let's take a look at this in more detail. Now, you could make another query for this if you wanted to, but we're at the developer level now. So instead of making a second like an address filter queue, that's how I would teach beginners how to do it. We're going to do it a little more advanced. We're going to just modify this SQL statement and use the same query. Okay? Now, since our data is all coming from address queue, I don't need this address queue repeated everywhere. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of the brackets around here because we don't need them because we're not using spaces in our field names like good little boys and girls, right? Okay. And sometimes when I'm working with queries in here, it's easier to do it like this so you can see everything right, one line at a time. Yeah, Access is going to fix it in a minute and put it the way it likes it, but this makes it easier to read, right? Select the address ID and the full address from the address queue, order by full address. A nice, simple, easy to read SQL statement. Now, all I'm going to do is add a where clause in here. Now, the where has to be in front of the order by, so we'll do that. We'll say where, and what are we going to say? We're going to say where the full address is like whatever's in the address filter, and we're going to put an asterisk on both ends. Okay, so we're going to say where full address is like star and address filter, that's the box we just created, and a star. Now, what happens when the address filter is blank or null or empty? You're going to get like star star, which is the same thing as saying show me everything, right? But if there's something in the address filter, now we get a like star main star. So it's going to be like star any word that's got main in it, the whole entire address. That could be a zip code, a city, a state, whatever. Okay, see what we got going on? Are you with me? If not, I've got several seminars and lessons on SQL. This stuff, SQL is very powerful. Learn it if you're going to be working with Access on a developer level. Definitely learn this. I learned SQL long after I learned VB. And once I learned SQL, I was like, why didn't I learn this first? So trust me. I'll put a link down below to my SQL seminar. All right, so hit OK. And then we're going to close that. And let's just close this and save everything and open it back up again. See what we got. All right, drop this down. All right, the box looks good. Okay, it's showing me everything, which it should be, right? Like this null, that star null star, and it's exactly what it should be. Now, if I put main in here, okay, and then I drop this down, it's still showing me everything. Why? Because we need to put something in the after update event for this text box so that when the user changes this, it requeries that combo box. Okay, and it's real simple. It's one line of code. Design view. Come in here, double click. Events. You want after update. Okay, this fires after that box is updated. Yeah, there's other events you could use too. If you want it to update every single time they type in a character, like a search as you type, you can do that as well. I got a separate video on that too. All right, and that will every time they type a character, it'll requery that list. I think that's a little bit too much for this, but if you want to, I got a video on that. I'll put a link down below. I think after update for this is just fine. So we're gonna go after update, and your VB window opens up. There it is. And we are going to just simply say in here, address combo dot requery. That's it. That's all you really need. And we're going to add a couple more things to it in just a second. But that's all you need. That's going to say, okay, after the user types in something in this address filter, requery that combo box. All right, save it. Come back over here. Shut it down. Open it back up again. Okay, now notice I've got everything. I'm just going to type in main, M-A-I-N, tab. And now when I open this up, oh, look at that. It's filtered. See? And if I get rid of it, and let's put it in 1422. We're looking for maybe that zip code. Tab. Drop it down. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Looking for records from Florida. FL. Right? And you might see some other records in here with like maybe a street name called Florida or Florimond or whatever. But basically, it'll filter it down to what you're looking for based on what's in your table. Okay? Now, I said we could add a couple more embellishments. How about this? Come back into your code. let's do this. Let's say address combo dot set focus, which normally it would, because usually when the user's done typing that, they hit tab. And if your tab order is set up correctly, it's going to move there anyways. But this just makes sure it does. Then requery it. Then how about we open up the combo box? Address combo dot drop down. Open her up, right? Save it. Come back over here. Come over here. Let's type in New York. Tab. Oh, look at that. There's all the New Yorkers. Let's put another New York one in here. Let's go to AddressT. Let's go just 222 Main Street, Buffalo, New York 14220. Okay, just so we have another address in there. All right, now if I come in here, let's go 142 and hit tab. Boom. There's my 21422 whatever addresses. See how this works? Isn't it cool? All right. And yeah, I just tabbed off of that and I went to the next record. That's one of my pet peeves too. That's just because these two were added last, so they're last in the tab order. So I can come up here and go form design, tab order. We'll take the address F, which is the subform, and move that to the end. So at least when I'm done here, it'll go into the subform. Right? Let's go. Okay, if I type in 142, hit tab, and I can click on that. And now if I hit tab again, okay. So this all looks good. Now, how do I get this down here? Well, without coding, you could, if you wanted to, just copy it and paste it, because that's going to be in the box, right? But how about we make an add button? Make a little button here that says add, and it just drops it down on the bottom down there. Wouldn't that be cool? And again, that's not hard. It's a little bit of SQL, a little tiny bit of VBA. We can do all kinds of powerful things. So let's make a button, design view, drop this down. Let's find the button, put it right over here. Now the wizard's going to start. We don't want the wizard for this. There is no wizard that does this, so cancel. I'm going to change the caption so it says add. And let's make that font a little bit smaller. I like to go 9 point on my little buttons. That's my little helper buttons, right? Okay, stick it right there. Let's double click on it, give it a good name. Right? Maybe add address button, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. Okay. And now let's go and put the code in this button. We basically want to take whatever's in here and add it as a record down here with a little bit of code. We really only need like 2 lines of code. So right click, build event. Here we are in the add address button. Click. Now, before we get to that, it's time for a brief, really brief advertisement from our sponsor. And who's our sponsor? Well, our sponsor is me. If you like learning with me, if you enjoy how I teach and you're learning some stuff and you think this is fun, I got tons of developer lessons on my website. I teach SQL and VBA and all this good stuff. All the things that I cover in my tech help videos, I got in my full courses too. Well, not all, a lot of it. For example, one of the things we focused on in this video series is many-to-many relationships. I covered that as early as my Access Expert Level 7 class. No programming required. We learn about junction tables and all kinds of stuff. This is just some of the stuff you learn in my Expert series. Expert Level 3, for example, we start covering SQL basics. And I got lots of lessons where I talk about SQL. It's not one of those things you have to learn all at once. As you can see, I like to cover things in bits and pieces. Like I'll cover a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit going on. So every couple of classes, you learn a little bit more SQL as it fits the situation. That's how I teach. But if you're not interested in the full courses, I do have seminars available on a lot of these topics. For example, my SQL seminars, 3-part series. Part 1's the basics. Part 2's action queries. Part 3 is the advanced stuff like manipulating table structures. Lots of good stuff in this seminar. Okay, advertising's over. See, I told you it would be a short one. It's a little quickie. All right. 5-part series. I got to put a little teeny tiny bit of advertising in there, right? Okay, so how do I get that value from this combo box down into here as a new record? Now, there's a lot of different ways you could do this. You could use do command, go to control, and go to record commands and jump around. Like you could jump to the subform, jump to a new record, jump to the... I try not to do that. I used to do that a lot when I first started out, when I first started learning Access. And there's nothing wrong with that. Do command, go to control, go to record. I got separate videos on those two. But But if I can avoid that, I try to, because when you're using those commands to jump around to different fields on forms, any number of things can accidentally take the focus off of it, and then everything gets messed up. So I'm going to do a different method. We're going to actually add a record to the table underneath and then just requery the combo or requery the subform. You could do it with either a record set or just one line of SQL code. Let's use SQL. It's easier, right? So let's come over here. Here's our button. First, let's check and make sure that there's something in that combo box, right? So if is null address combo, then we could be nice and we could drop the box down and give them a message. I'm just going to say exit sub. That's up to you. If there's nothing in there, exit out of there, okay? Or give them a beep or whatever. So at this point, we've got something in the combo box. So now we're going to insert it into our junction table, okay? So it's going to be current db.execute. That's how you run an SQL statement. You can also use docommand.run SQL if you want to. Remember to turn the warnings off. All right. Insert into customer x address t. This is an append query. Okay. What are the fields you want to insert? Customer ID and address ID. Okay. If we look at our table, this is the table we're inserting it into where the data goes for in here, right? Open it up. I want to put a value in the customer ID and a value in the address ID. Address type ID, unfortunately, we don't have it at this point. The user can always add it after the fact. All right, it's not required. Okay, so we got that. Leave a space at the end, very important. Leave that little space there because we're continuing on to the next line. Okay, values. What's this got to look like? Now, inside parentheses, I'm going to put the customer ID, which will get the value off the current form, right? We're now sitting on the customer form. So it's going to get the customer ID off the current customer form. If you don't have it there, make sure you add it. Sometimes it'll get it, but it's best to have the field there. Okay? And then we need a comma, right? It's going to be a 3, 6, whatever. What's that? It's going to be the address combo has that address ID. Close up our parentheses, and then we're done. That will add the record to the table. Okay? Now, at this point, all we need to do is requery the subform. This guy, just requery it, it'll reload all of its records. The name of the subform is AddressF. Whenever you bring a form over here in a subform, the default name is whatever the name of the form is. So now all we have to say is AddressF, AddressF dot requery. And that's it. Save it. Always wise to throw in a debug compile from time to time. Come back over here, close it, open it. Let's go to somebody else here. Let's go to someone new. All right, Wesley Crusher. I want to look for, he's in, let's look for, he's a New Yorker, so let's go like that. Okay, there's 2 New York addresses. Pick that one, and I'll hit my add button. Boom, there you go. See that? Want to pick a different one? All right, let's put in here, let's type in 1, 2, 3. That's the only one. What do I have, 1, 2, 4 maybe? No, nothing in 1, 2, 4. 1, 0. There's a 101. Is that you? Okay, that's me. Click on it, add it. Boom. See, there's your little add button. Or you can still come down here and do it the old-fashioned way if you want to pick from all of them. All right? Now, one more thing you might want to do. At this point, there's nothing to stop someone from doing this and adding it 3 times. Okay? I would fix that with a composite key. I got a separate video on that. A composite key says you can set up a key. You can set up multiple fields where you can't have duplicates among them. So you can have a composite key where the customer and the address can't be the same in the junction table. All right, I covered that in this video. I'll put a link down below. And while I'm talking about some other links, these aren't ads. I'm pointing you to other videos, folks. I mentioned search as you type a minute ago. I got a video on that, which does, each time you type, it updates the list. There's another video I've got where you can do a reverse lookup where you type in the zip code and then it'll find the city and the state based on that zip code. So that's another related video for you. And finally, another great video you might want to check out that's kind of related to this stuff is cascading combo boxes, where If you want to set up multiple fields, if you don't want to put the whole address string together in one box, you could set up multiple cascading combo boxes where you pick the state first, then it drills down and shows you just the cities in that state, right? Then from there, it could drill down and show you just the street addresses based on that city. Whatever you want to do. You can set up multiple ones or not. So there's lots and lots of different techniques. And like I said before, the technique you pick is whatever works best for you and your business. My job is just to show you multiple techniques. No, I'm not going to do the Data and Tasha joke again. But you pick whatever works best for you. I'm just showing you a bunch of ways to do it, and you pick what is best. Now, at this point, you're probably saying to yourself, someone you should always listen to, this is all cool and stuff, but I've got 1,000 or whatever customers in my customer table already. I don't want to waste all this data. I don't want to have to type all this in. I don't want to have to copy and paste it. How can I get these addresses into this junction table and use this? There's a reason why I didn't delete these address fields up front. So how do we take the addresses that are already in our customer table and move them into the junction table? Well, we're going to cover that in the extended cut for the members. See, members, I told you I was going to give you a little extended cut coming up. This, unfortunately, is going to require some advanced programming using record sets. We have to loop through all the customers, take each customer, take their address information, put it in a new record in the junction table, set the values appropriately, and then move on to the next customer. So we're going to loop through the customers and do that. And yeah, it's going to be fun. That's going to be covered in the extended cut. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut videos. Gold members can download these fancy databases that I build, and you get access to my code vault and all this stuff. And all my members get free classes every month. So what are you waiting for? Join today. There's lots and lots of cool stuff. And most importantly, you're supporting me. You're supporting my work. You're helping to keep these free tech help videos coming. Because honestly, if I didn't make money selling lessons and memberships, I wouldn't be able to do these free videos either. Because I'd have to get a real job, which I don't want to do. So help me out. I got puppies to feed. But there you go. That's going to do it. That's going to be your tech help video for today. I hope you learned something. And I hope you enjoyed the series. And if you've got a better way of handling multiple addresses like that, I want to hear about it. Post something in the comments down below. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member, and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the tech help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any tech help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for tech help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.